Good morning, this is Dennis Miracle. I am going to be making today a design called 3 Diamonds. And so, as you can see, it's well, you can't tell, but it is for the 6x10 hoop. And as you can see, hopefully, I have done the first step, which did the outline of the bag and the place for the zipper. So I'm going to now take my zipper and attach it. So let me do that. It's a lovely 6:30 on a Saturday morning, so I'm doing what I enjoy. I hope you'll enjoy this also. I've got my 1-inch number 3 zipper in black, and I'm going to take it, and it's 1 inch wide. Number 3 zippers generally are. It should fit perfectly between these two lines here where my fingers are at. If you have a zipper that's maybe a little more narrow or a little wider, just take and this middle runway, I call it, just take and line up your coil of your zipper in the center of this, because these two inner lines, that's where the machine is actually going to stitch. So just keep that in mind. These are on the next step, step number 2, it will go right back over these center 2 lines. So just keep that in mind when you're placing your zipper. So let me do that, and I'm going to put a piece across the top, and I might be out of the camera range. Let me pull it back. No, hopefully I'm not. And a little piece, a piece at the bottom, of course. Okay, get back there. And now a little piece I put right at the very edge here in the center. So I'm going to take this now and run step number 2, and that will sew down this zipper. Be right back. Alrighty. Now the next thing we're going to do, and this is tacked down. I had to pull it up myself to see because I'm using black thread and I couldn't tell either, but it is tacked down or sewn down. I'm going to turn this over, and again we have the same 4 lines obviously that we had on the front, and I'm going to take my piece of lining face down and place it on this bottom line here, the 4th line. If you count this as the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to place it centered evenly between the sides. I'm going to place it there and tape it down. Well, okay. Okay. Now I'm going to just let it roll over to the front of the hoop, and I'm going to take it and fold it a time or 2, and then I'm going to take it and tape it to the frame of the hoop here, because we won't need it for a good many steps, so it needs to be held out of the way. Now I'm going to take my front piece, which is this. I'm not sure there's well, maybe this is the right way to put it. This is called Black Tooled from My Punk Broidery, and she has some really pretty, unusual vinyls. And I don't use a lot of vinyl, but today I've decided to use something different than cloth. So take this, and if it's directional, which I think this is, just pull it up like that and put it again right there at the edge of this, well, the edge of the zipper, since we can see the zipper now, and center it in between. And by the way, I've cut all of my fabric with one exception, which I'll get to in a minute. All of my vinyl today, because I'm using all vinyl on the exterior, I've cut it 7 inches by 11 inches for a 6 by 10 bag. That's my rule, is just add an inch each direction for the size of pattern you're using. So let me put one in the center too. All right, I'm going to take this to the machine, and it's going to sew along this second line in. If you can't see it from now because it's covered, but so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and let me first turn it over to the back. I always like to make sure that something didn't go wrong, and yes, it's sewn down beautifully. And then here on the front, it's sewn down perfectly. So let me take, and this is difficult working with, well, it's not difficult, it's just different working with vinyl. I'm trying to get it away from the zipper, obviously, so it doesn't get caught in the zipper. And I'm going to take my little old, this is just a wash rag that's stained from going through Clorox. It's a thick wash rag though. And I'm going to take my iron and I'm just going to run it over this to make it a little more pliable. Okay. All right, that did the trick. And I'm going to take and I'm going to have to stop for a moment. Hold on, be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had forgotten to cut my batting, and I'm using this. This is kind of a thick batting. I don't even know what it is. I've had it for a long time. But I take it, and this is the exception to my 7 by 11 rule. I cut this 6 by 11, so it's 11 inches across here, but it's only 6 inches this direction instead of 7, because I want it to fit up under here nicely without hanging over on the side here. So pull this down, and I think I'm going to tape it. Well, now I'm out of tape. Let me not ask what else could go wrong, because we always know there's a lot that could go wrong. So let me take, and the next step will do a stitch around this entire, I like to do this basting stitch, basically what it is, even though the stitches are not large, they're regular stitches. So let me go and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and you can't see probably because of the black thread, but this vinyl has been sewn down on all 4 sides, just right going along through here, right below this zipper. And so the next thing that's going to happen is the 3 diamonds will start, and there will be the first is the placement stitch. So there's 1 diamond, 2 diamond, 3 diamonds, and so the placement stitch for the diamonds will occur. And let me go and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I changed to pink thread, as you can see, and so I wanted it to show so you could see where the placement stitches were for the 3 diamonds. And now I'm going to take my beautiful pink parlor paper, another piece of vinyl from My Punk Broidery, and I could cut out small little pieces, but I just don't see I'm going to waste my whole 7x11 sheet on this because I just don't see having to cut these individually and make sure they're the right size. And anyhow, I'm just going to put this over there, and actually I will change my thread back to black so that I can see where to cut. So let me go and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, these have been sewn down, or this has all been sewn down, the entire sheet, and I'm going to take my applique scissors, wherever they might be, and cut the 3 diamonds out, and I'll have plenty left over to use for making my little joiners for the crossbody bags. So I rarely throw anything completely away because I can always find a use for it. So let me cut these 3 out, and I'll be right back and show you what that looks like. Okay, you can see I've cut the around the 3 diamonds. I'm not real pleased with some of it. I'm going to try to cut a little bit better after I get back off the camera here. But the next step I'll be doing is there's 2 steps which I'll do. Well, I'll show you each one because I just like to make sure you can see. But there's going to be a step where there's a very loose foundation type zigzag done on each of these, and then there'll be well, let me just stop there because I know that's the next thing. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back, and I told you a little story, unfortunately, because I don't have any memory. I did you can see that there's been some zigzag stitches, loose zigzag stitches to hold it down nicely. And then the step after that was to put this center stitching here, which kind of, to me, I thought when I made it represented the facets of a diamond, because they're of course cut with different sides and such as that. So anyhow, that was my attempt to show that. I'm not sure I like it, but it is there if you want to do it. And that brings up another issue. There's like 22 steps in this, but about 14 to 16 I have done every one of these set and made a separate step for each one of these diamonds for all 3 or 4 parts of each. So there would be 12 steps right there, because I didn't know whether you might want to just run the center one, you might want to run the 2 exterior ones. I wanted to give you the choice, because that's just the way I feel. I like to give people the choice and the option to do what they want to do, instead of me making you do that. That's not the way I live. So anyhow, you can run all of these, none of these, 1 of these, 2 of these, whatever. So then I will take it back to the machine, and it will do the rope edging, which is a very beautiful thing I've just discovered in some software just within the past couple weeks, and you've probably seen it on my other like my wristlets, the key fobs I've been making. So anyhow, let me go and run that, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I am finally back, and you can see the pretty rope stitching. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it as close as I wanted, and so you see a little bit of the white poking out here and there, and that's unfortunate, but I'll do better next time. So our next thing we're going to do is finally release this piece here, the lining piece, let it roll over to the back, and take out these pieces here. There's some tape here on the sides. Take that all away. And then just bring this nice and taut and tape it down on both sides. And now I'm going to go run it, and it's a repeat of this stitching that took place that did all 4 sides, and so that's what I'll do right now, and I'll be right back. Almost done. And I wanted to mention also that I always use Schmetz jeans needles for everything I do, and I never have a problem with breakage of needles. I mean, unless I run over a piece of metal somehow. But for all the work I do with these bags, hundreds of bags that I've made, rarely do I ever have a breakage of a needle because of the jeans needles. And I get those at Joann's, and I'll wait till I have a coupon and get them for like $3 a little container, 5 or 6 come in the container, and I'll just use all of them. They're different sizes, I know, but I just use all of them, and you know, they just all work. So anyhow, I'll be back in a moment. Alrighty, I'm back, and the back lining has been sewn down. So the next step we're going to do is take the tape off our zipper, open the zipper up about 3/4 of the way, and before I forget, I'm going to do this a little bit differently today. I'm going to place this here on the side. That was the last piece of tape. Hold on. Okay, I've taped this on the side. I've taped it on right here, the metal piece down, the key ring itself. Let me remove this weird mess here. Okay, and now I'm going to take is going to be the back of my bag, which is going to be another piece of this black black vinyl, and let me see which way is up and which way is down. I think this is the correct orientation, so we're just going to take and cover what's already here, making sure that you're at least 1/4 inch above the zipper and your zipper is open. Don't make that mistake of leaving it closed. And take your piece of batting and put it over that, smooth it down, and take it to your machine, and then do the next step, and I'll be right back. Okay, you can see that this has been all stitched down, and the last step we're going to take and turn the hoop over and put on our last piece of lining. So take the lining and place it face down over what's already there. Make sure you're above the top exterior line of the bag, and let me sit down. Tape this at each of the 4 corners. Okay, one more. Alrighty, I hope that'll do. Should. And take it back to the machine, and let's do this last step, and I'll be right back. Alright, the last step has been run, and can't see much difference on the front of the hoop, but when you turn it over, you're going to see that this last piece of lining has been tacked down, and it also left a nice, generous area to stick your hand in and turn the bag, because this bag is going to need a nice generous area because it's all vinyl and it's going to be a little tougher than turning just fabric. So anyhow, that's done. We're going to take it now out of the hoop. And we're going to take, I always cut from the lining side. Where's my, here's my pathetic, well, they work pretty good, scissors. And what I do is I come in at an angle, and then I turn, and I just cut 1/4 inch away from the stitch line all the way around. And this is a little harder with doing all vinyl, but actually these are doing a good job for what they are. Actually, they're doing a great job. They're just Westcott titanium. You get them a pack of maybe 3 of these for $8 or $9 at Sam's, and I've got scads of name brand scissors that don't do as good as these at 4 times the price. So this is a real good bargain. And when you're done, you just throw them away when they've turned unusable, because it'll cost you $8 to get it sharpened probably. Okay, so I cut another bit at an angle there. Throw all this mess away here so I don't have to look at it. Okay, and so what we're left with, we have our lining pieces, our 2 lining pieces, but everything else here needs to be cut off and thrown away. So let me just cut right 1/8 of an inch, or 1/16 of an inch above the stitch line, and remove all of this. All right, however, I am going to keep that to make my little connectors. Okay, now I'm going to take and turn this out, and it's not. Okay, gotta. Okay, I've turned this out the rest of the way, and I'm going to take, I've got my iron warmed up, and I'm going to run over this very quickly because I'm trying to get it a little softer. Well, I'm going to be brave or foolish. Okay, alrighty. Oh, I forgot, I need to remove this. We need to remove the stabilizer from the area here, from the zipper area, and I use just paper towels so it comes right up. And but before we turn it, we have to sew this together. So turn, somehow this got awfully short, but I always turn it in like this, and iron it down, and turn this piece in. I don't know why they're both so short today. Stick it in there, stick these little angled pieces off to the side, and give it another press, and take it to your sewing machine and sew this gap closed, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, I've got that closed up. Let me take and cut off a few of these little strings. Let me see. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, now we're finally going to turn the bag out, and it's done. So just reach in and open the zipper as far as you can. And all right, and let's turn it out. And boy, is it stiff. Take this piece of tape off here. All right, that looks good. And take and turn this, massage this with your fingers and turn the zipper the way it should be, inward. Okay. All righty. Just massage it good and get it where it should be. And now let's, well, let's close it. Well, is it gonna close? Aha. All right, now I'm going to take and give it a little quick pressing. Okay, now it's kind of soft and moist, and there we have it. This is 3 Diamonds purse, and I think it's beautiful. I love this. This is called parlor paper in the color, obviously pink. It comes in a number of colors from My Punk Broidery. It's not cheap, but it's pretty. And so I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this today, and I hope if you get the pattern, you'll make some beautiful purses for yourself and for your loved ones. And I just want to thank everybody for the encouragement they've given me, the support they've given me, because it really has been overwhelming. I've met so many nice people along the way doing this, making these designs and purses. So anyhow, thank you all so much. And I'll be back hopefully tomorrow or the next day. I've got another purse ready to go almost. So I'll see you the next day or two. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.